there are three benefits that I have seen. One is better utilization of resources. Number two, higher profitability.
Okay.
And third is less wastage. And the amount of time which is required in wishing is the same amount of time which is required in planning. And these 2 days is dedicated on, I think everyone will agree that we have chosen a very auspicious day, and you will talk about it, why 19th and 20th today. But I think the dates are also chosen carefully so that all MSMEs and business owners who believe that planning is required, who believe that before playing a larger match, net practice is required, who believe that Virat Kohli needs to practice every day despite being Virat Kohli. And that's why I started by saying that the best time to repair a roof is when the sun is shining. So plan well in time and ensure that we achieve what we really wanted to achieve. I think this Aarambh is an accumulation of great minds who will work together to ensure that what we dream for is what we achieve. And our hashtag says it all. It is karke dikhayenge.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Akshay, for giving this opening for this conversation today. I think I will move on to Vineet. Vineet, what has been your experience of people who do the budgeting exercise and people who don't do budgeting exercise? What has been your experience? Because you've been into numbers all the time. Can you share with us?
Great. So first of all, thank you for having me here on this fantastic platform, Yogesh. And I think great to hear the opening thoughts of Dr. Seth. I think there's this famous quote that he was referring to, that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I think in a nutshell, that sums up what he was saying. So effectively, let's break this question into two parts. First part is a kind of an actual live experience with MSMEs, and let's accept the fact that most of us as in all of us, be Dr. Seth or Yogesh, we all consider ourselves, obviously, even if you're advisors or trainers, as a part of the MSME community. We are very much there. So I think there's at a very ground level, there's definitely a lack of what we can call as very formal planning. There is a planning, but that planning might be in the head of the promoter, maybe head of the finance manager or the family, and it practically ends there. Or maybe the planning is कि इस साल 10 crore turnover किया है, अगली साल 12 crore करेंगे, उसके लिए 12 इस साल इतना लोन लगा था, next year proposal डालना है, and so on and so forth. So I'm generalizing. So for people attending this, I'm sure a lot of you actually do a lot of planning. So please don't take it otherwise. We're talking of a majority of people what you do, because obviously the people attending today's session either are doing it to an extent or wish to do it to an extent, and that's why you are here. So, but by and large, so I said two parts. First part is where even when it happens, to this extent it happens. Broad turnover, broad capacity, and that equation, so much capacity, hence we need a plant, and so on and so forth. And it ends there. This is also because lack of resources. You may not have a competent person handling it. Your accountant is there, he's there for 20 years, may not be a qualified CA, MBA, probably will not be one. So even if you wish to, how do you do? Core competence of chartered accountants may not be in business planning unless you are a specialist. So tax, etc. matters get handled well, but this may not be there. So one of the challenges is you don't really, even if you wish to, you really don't have any place to go to. And I think that's the real need that Yogesh identified, saying it's needed, but where do I go to? So that's part one of those things. Second part is, why in the first place, as I said, there's no need to get into big why, because people here understand the need why. But let me articulate it. Need of the I should do something, right? But why and why? What is the real benefit? So let's put it. I think 2 or 3 key points there are. Number one, there's a very famous quote. I think it is from the G CEO, I think it's a Jack Welch quote, who says that what cannot be measured cannot be improved. Very simple. So if you haven't put a metric, you first of all at least take annual metric, 10 crore turnover. Then you put monthly kitna. Then you convert that turnover into, if you've got sales guys, who does what. Now, if you're looking at a gross number, then obviously all the success failure is up to you, or you are not identifying who's doing what kind of performance. If you haven't analyzed region-wise kaise hua hai, and so on and so forth. So you really don't get to know which sales executive has really performed, which hasn't. I mean, and depend on the level at which you want to track. If you really want to track, for example, by product, by region, and so on and so forth, you really not to go. I mean, that's the background. So I say three things. One is this: if you are measuring, then how do you know? It's just that sales is going up, and a lot of people come in problem because they see sales growing up, but ek jagah liability bhi upar ja raha hai, sales upar ja raha hai, and you really do not know whether you are really making money, and then you get in a trap. Second is you may have a lot of potential, but simply because you haven't looked at your numbers. Okay, it's like you are doing, every day you are going for a run, but you're not really tracking your speed. And one day, you outrun somebody who's running for like so many years, and that's the time you'll know. So growth can get stunted simply because you don't know your margins. You don't compare your margins with others, and vice versa. Obviously, you might be up for a great expansion and so on and so forth, and you actually may not be doing great. I mean, both these things are a problem. And third and last, very, very important, is I would call planning your best insurance policy. I think more important than your health insurance and life insurance and whatever it is. If you're really into benchmark or planning, you should spend more than what you spend on these policies, because that's the kind of peace of mind you get. So thank you for that longish introduction, but yeah.
No, I think that was fairly said well, that it is few of us do it, few of us don't do it. But more importantly, I think in today's session, we will touch upon the various aspects of budget that the SMEs need to plan. So Akshay, the question comes to you now. When you say we have to build a revenue budget, what are the key pointers of revenue budget? What do we need to keep in focus when you want to say build up a revenue budget?
What are the considerations that we need to do?
Yes. What are the considerations that we need to do?
So as Vineet said, that I think, first of all, I think I'm going back to what Vineet was saying, and I think he added some very interesting perspective. One important point is that this entire exercise helps a business owner to put it on paper and commit. Because without it, it is there in their head, but putting it on a piece of paper. If you look at the last year's experience of people who participated in the budget, and I think we are tracking their performance very, very closely.
Correct.
You will realize that it is not very surprising, Vineet, that whatever number that they committed, they are in and around that number only. And for certain cases, the numbers have been 100% growth also, 50% growth also, 40% growth also. At times, I get so excited in knowing the science around that when people plan a certain number, why do they reach exactly there?
Very
in and around that number. Okay. And the answer is given by another guy who actually quoted that thing that you said, is that without commitment, there are only hopes and no plans. And this entire annual operating plan, or for that matter, anyone who believes in planning will look at the considerations. And if you are doing under the expert guidance of somebody who has been there, done that, the chances are that they will be able to find a path to least resistance.
True.
Because budgeting also is not found in the books which is available at the airport. Okay. तो कि आप बैठ जाओ, ये वाला फॉर्मेट भर लो, उसके बाद ये कर लो, उसके बाद ये कर लो, ऐसा नहीं है. There are many considerations that we need to keep in mind. So some important considerations to answer Yogesh's question is, number one, obviously is, or not in any particular order or any particular sequence, but one of the factors that I always look at is the past figures and trends, unless and until the company is starting new. Then it is basis potential and optimum utilization of the potential. But if there is a history of company and they have been into existence. At least I look at the last 3 to 5 years of figure, if it is available. In
And,
case of
and
MSMEs,
what are
have
the
struggled.
sorry, what are the different avenues that we need to look at when I say avenues, the different levels where the revenues can come up from? So would you be able to give us a little
Yeah,
guideline
so
of that?
various ways of preparing a sales budget goes like that, whether you do the bifurcation product wise, whether you do a bifurcation geography wise, whether you do a bifurcation period wise, whether you do in B2B cases, one of the most common ways of doing it is customer wise. Sometimes you do grounds up and do salesman wise. Sometimes that estimation is done channel wise. So whether it is B2B, whether it is B2C, whether it is B2G, whether it is B2E. B2B is largely business to business. B2C is consumer. B2G is government opportunities that you can get depending on the nature of business, obviously, and also export. Because at times in the planning, we don't consider that we can go across the border also. And some
Correct.
companies' fortunes have changed because that consideration has been kept in mind while planning.
Absolutely correct.
The second thing that I always look at is that it is not an exercise where the estimation of the owner only plays a role. I think it is the team's estimate also and the confidence level around that particular number. So I strongly believe that if there is a team available, if we can take them into the entire piece. A lot of client of ours at School of Inspirational Leadership has been manufacturers. So we also look at the plant capacity, the production capacity factor, because if there is no capacity available, then all the planning that we are doing on the numbers may fall flat. Okay, if we realize it later at the time of execution. In certain cases, availability of the raw material also plays an important role, because some businesses are such that the input availability of that input and the price fluctuations are huge. And if we can keep a track on that, that is an important consideration while planning a budget. Also look at the prospects which are there currently. So if there is a order book which is available, the trade prospects which are there in that industry, look at that. A thorough analysis of orders in hand will come handy, because that estimation gives us the starting point and also a kind of a forecast or a projection on where we can go. Some businesses that we have dealt last year, a large number of them had a seasonal fluctuation also.
Correct.
So out of, let's say, 12 months, there are 3 months which has been consistently low. And can we find avenues to fill that gap during that particular period? That is an important aspect in planning. Eighth aspect I look at is the financial capability of the owner, the capacity, whether he has the money or not. Because some businesses, and when I'm saying that, that will bring a smile on your face, because some businesses know that there is a potential. Some businesses know that they will be able to achieve a particular number, but they don't have, they have issues around cash flows. And can we estimate that capacity and how much is required from outside or any other investor support is required? That's an important factor. Also, another factor that we look at is the return on capital employed. So what kind of margins that we are looking at? Can we also keep a tight balance on competition? What's happening in and around the industry? Read that particular piece while planning the budget. The amount of marketing spend that we will do, the advertisement spend that we'll do. Can we create some pluses in certain areas where we can increase the revenue? I have already spoken about government and import or export possibilities. Researching the market trend. I'm sure you remember that we did a project where we are doing we are starting with the market research first and then building a plan.
Correct. Correct.
Look at customers' data. With Aarambh, there is one unique factor which may not be available, and I don't know if I'm crossing the line by saying that there is no other opportunity that I have scanned in the market where there are experts available to build a budget. So expert opinion is something which can help you find the right track, because some factors you may know because of being into the business, but some factors, if data is looked at, one expert can look at differently, another expert can bring in. All the experts coming together is very important consideration. I think that people should take advantage of. the potential market which is there in that particular piece, the channel, the fluctuation. I've already spoken about the consumer demand in that space. And last but not the least, the 21st consideration that I am going to teach in Aarambh is there a scope of usage of technology in the next year's planning, and can that impact wastage? Can that impact effective utilization of resources? Sometimes you have to take a few steps back to invest in these spaces so that you can take a giant leap. These are the 21 considerations that I would like Yogesh, people to consider.
Wonderful, very nice, very nice. And I think Shirish sir has also joined us. Shirish sir, welcome to the conversation.
Yeah, sorry for late joining. I was again onto some review meeting with EC.
No problem, no problem, no problem. Okay, so that takes us to the next conversation. I'll get you inside the conversation, Shirish sir, but we are moving on to some discussions here. I would also want to share with everybody the template that Dr. Akshay was talking about. Now, if you see, this is a template created for manufacturing and trading business. So somebody who's into manufacturing and has a certain amount of trade involved, this is the budget created for there. So there are 4 types of templates. The first template is manufacturing and trading. Second template is only trading. Third template is only manufacturing, and fourth template is project-based businesses. So these are 4 templates that have been created. I'm only taking all of you through the one template because in paucity of time. So whatever Dr. Akshay has spoken right now falls into expansion goals and growth budget. Okay, whatever he has spoken, the 21 considerations that he's spoken about all fall into expansion and growth. Okay, so this is where he will play an important role in Aarambh for helping us understand, and then we'll probably able to build all of that into our budget plan. So this is how the considerations are being shown, and if you see, the growth budget will go like this. So he was talking about various plans. He was talking about retail, wholesale, B2 online, B2B, B2G, whatever platforms, number of things to be done, number of projects to be taken, and the amount of marketing that we need to do, and the monthly spend that will go around it. This is how a growth budget is being created for our company. Okay, so I'm also telling you where we will work on this. And the beauty about this part here is, Akshay, I think Akshay, Shirish sir, Vineet ji, all of you are aware of it, but for the benefit of the audience, there will be a financial expert on every table. So apart from the 10 mentors that you have on the stage, there will be financial experts on every table. So every table will be around 7, 8, 10 businesses. And there will be one financial expert who knows about this entire Excel sheet budgeting, who will be sitting with you all throughout next 2 days to make sure that you're filling that. So that's one of the elements. Because hum bhi seekhte hai na, people like you may be improving your products. We also are trying to improve our services. So few people said कि sir हमारा ना हाथ उतना थोड़ा Excel में तंग है. तो उन लोगों का जिनका हाथ एक्सेल में तंग है और शायद अकाउंटेंट नहीं ले आ पाते या सेल्स हेड नहीं ले आ पाते, we are giving an added benefit of having a financial expert who will help us build that. That is point number 1. Point number 2 is the pre-budget sessions will start from 15th of Jan. From 3 to 4 every day, some of the experts of School of Inspirational Leadership will be live like this, and they will be guiding all of us of what elements. It's an open discussion, so you may want to come out with all the questions. We will answer them so that by the time you reach on 19th and 20th, okay, so people from Maharashtra who have joined in, all of you know that 19th is a very, very auspicious day. Okay, 19th February was the birth date of, rather is the birth date of Raja Shiva Chhatrapati, and hence the element of Aarambh comes on every day 19th. So somebody, by the way, let me tell you who's going to be our chief guest for the evening on 20th evening. He is, yes, service sector template also we will have. Yes, Naga, we will have service sector template, right? So the chief guest for this event on day 2, after we complete all our budgets, is the MSME ministry in the center. His name is Mr. Narayan Rane, and Deputy Finance Minister of the country, Mr. Bhagwat Karal. Both of them are going to grace this event because when we showed them, they said that this is something that is not happening in the entire country. So that is point number one. In a week's time, we will also receive a letter that this entire activity is supported by MSME government. The ministry is supporting this. So we'll receive a letter on that as well. So this is the kind of thing that is happening. But I'm going to share something with you, which probably I will not be able to take the name. So I was talking to somebody and he said, can you shift the event and make it on 20th? I can be available then. And my audacious answer to him was, no, sir, I cannot shift the day that Chhatrapati was born. Right. So similarly, every year, Aarambh will always happen on 19th and 20th of February, irrespective who comes, who doesn't come, which dignitaries are okay with it. So the whole process of building Aarambh is not only the economics part of it, but also the emotional part of it, that we all need to come together, because I firmly believe that emotions and economics work together to make the turnovers happen. There is a question on the chat. I'll take that and then we'll move forward. How to do market research for any product or service? Okay. I have answered Naga Srinivas's question. Service sector come in which template? It will be a part of my projects and service business. So that template is available. You don't have to worry about it. Asif Ahmed is asking how to do market research for any product or service. Market research is a complete different subject here, and more than happy to help you with that, Mr. Asif. You may want to get in touch with. We do market researches for our clients. You can definitely get in touch with our development team and ask them, but it is not a part of the budget making exercise. The budget making exercise is when you have completed your market research, if you are coming with a new product or new service. Okay. I hope I have answered the question. I think I'll take a question to Shiri sir now. Shiri sir, I'm going to twist the questions to something else. If I do not plan my manpower, what are the nuances? What are the difficulties that MSMEs or business owners might face when I don't plan my manpower? What could be your possible answer on this?
See, from the HR's perspective, like what we have the various kinds of the templates. So the key points for any of the New Year's budget is normally what we used to consider is number of employees projected in the next year, aligning with your business. What is your business projection? Benefit cost increase or according to the projections. So what are the benefits you are going to gain out of it? How you are going to balancing that part? Keeping in mind the cost of manpower, which is due to your performance management system, plus the additional part. Then salary cost increases or the projection increases. So which I just now talked about through performance management system, and your inflation rate increases according to what the COLA, what we call it, cost of living index, and all of these parts. Then projected turnover rate, how you are going to project, which is linked to again what Akshay was telling, per capita, ROS. ROS is, the investment on the, the capital employed. That is return on capital employed. Then projected turnover rate, how you are going to return, and then linking of the manpower versus what your project is going to take it up. Then analysis of actual cost incurred during the current year versus the projected year. So this you need to take it up. Then new benefits, which is you are talking about from the current manpower versus the future what you are planning is, or the programs what you are plan. And then other changes into the policy, business strategy, law and regulations, which may impact on the costing. For example, the new code of wages, which is going to implement maybe by next year, because only Maharashtra government draft was pending. So which is also be ready now. So all the 52 enactments, which is pro labor, now it's converted into only the 4 major wage code bills. So like provident example is provident fund, which the the gross salary, base salary should be 50% of your gross salary. So the net take home is going to reduce, but then impact is going to be plus. So that cost of you need to take it into account. Plus gratuity rule is going to change. It is likely to come to from current 5 years to 3 years. So your actuaries working is also going to go up. So how you are going to manage this? And then because of the law impact, the impact onto human take home salaries. So a lot of debates were going on. And in addition, without accepting these bullet points, what is into the selection, like recruitment in advertisement or the agency fees or any temporary help, like what I shared to like the NAT scheme and all these things, where government is proposing promoting the employment promotion plans through Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana, wherein they are reimbursing some kind of a 50% of the salary to the graduates of the minimum wages, which is attracting, which is likely to implement at EC immediately. Then the testing cost, employee referral programs, background checks, then recruitment related travels. So all these things is to be come up into the budgetary part of the HR part. Then if suppose you are sponsoring some of the institutes like industry institute interface programs, so that can create a brand value of your organization. So that also requires some kind of a cost plus supporting your mentors to that. Then printing cost for the application, recruiting, brochures, and all these things. Plus as per the training plans, the people development, whether you are nominating for the external programs, internal programs. So when you spare of your manpower is also require a cost. It is not the freebies, because you have to pay for it for that whatever 16 hours or whatever you are going to nominate for that. So whether it's the internal or external, then consultant fees, trainers, program material, other administrative costs like food and beverages and all these things, plus audio visuals. So all these things plus the compound ben, what I talked about. Compound ben is a complete bracket of CTC, and then other related to where now MSME, I don't think they will have the strong unions, but if anyone is having, then you cannot keep it aside. So management of the entire labor force, union, recognition, then government machinery management. So all these things also you need to cover it up. Plus, if suppose any cases has been referred to labor or industrial court, so the cost of lawyers and all this part. So you need to project that part. It may not be necessarily to come in, but then contingency liability
projection needs to be there. The projection
yes,
needs to be wonderful, yes. Very nice, very nice. So that takes us to the next element of it. And in the budget template that people saw right now, this is the place. So we'll just go to the index here, and this is the place where we build the people budget. So people budget, placement and selection, compound ben, labor and employee labor, health, safety, and others, including training budgets and all, if you intend to train your people. So that's what we're going to talk here. Then we let me now move on to the next part of it. Vineet, according to you, Vineet, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, Vineet, according to you, what are the most critical ratios that people need to keep in mind while they are building their budgets?
Right. So of course, on this call, we will not get into technicalities of the ratios, obviously. So just touch upon the key features. Absolutely. And obviously, they will differ from the 3 types of industries, because the nature of industry is obviously different.
Yeah.
So, first of all, what happens is many entrepreneurs can be put off, because if a lot of these financial workings are to be done, so we'll also simplified to an extent that at least like doctors are an excellent example and we should learn from them. So first they will check karenge ki nadi, heart rate, and from that they derive some very quick kind of inputs for taking calls, right?
Right.
So I think that's something that we need to learn from. What is these 2 or 3 things equivalent, blood pressure, whatever, for which I can do with my own, visual or a quick check. So for that, when it comes to making a budget, one is obviously, your margins, okay? Your gross and net margins, and especially your gross margins. Because see, that is why are we doing all of this for? Let us remember that you want to make something at 80 rupees, sell at 100 rupees. And it is as simple as that. Okay. And from that, 80 rupees cost, for example, is broken up into, let's say, 50 rupees of direct cost and let's say 30 rupees of indirect cost. Your ratios start from things like as basic as that, because where companies fail is, for example, from company to company. Now I'm talking more of manufacturing and I'll quickly come to ratios. So just to give you a flavor. So for example, if you are a very raw material centric industry, if your raw material prices are fluctuating, right? So a lot of these SMEs end up making losses, blaming ultimately market conditions, blaming Ukraine war and so on and so forth. But you knew beginning of the year that you were subject to market conditions. So just to get a contract on a competitive thing, you entered it because some competitor was not taking, and perhaps he was not taking the contract very, very wisely because he knew that uska tolerance limit hit ho raha hai. For example, if fluctuations happen, then the profit might be wiped off and so on and so forth. So understanding the structure of your 100 rupees that you get, कि direct cost kitna, material, and आपका overheads kitna. In the same breath, let me also then talk of service industry, where, for example, it could be marketing services, it could be consultancy services, a lot of these, where people cost is significant, where marketing and on-field cost is significant. Okay, so for such kind of companies, then it is the second part, because you will have a lot of fixed costs. You'll have rent as fixed cost and so on and so forth. So that is first thing. So in short, the ratios between your revenue and various types. And of course, we'll get into details, as you're saying, human resource cost and marketing costs. Those detailing can be got into later. And as I think Einstein said, God lies in the details. So ultimately, it is those kind of nitty-gritties that make or break. And you never realize when you get into a debt trap because the interest cost was too high. So that brings me to the second, one or two quick other points are, even because there will be tens of ratios, you need to identify the ratios which are critical to you. And that's, I think, one of the things that we'll have to learn. Because otherwise, because there'll be too many things, you will not end up checking anything. So you need to identify it. So apart from margins, I think your debt service, if you're taking loans, I think rate to loans, what is the interest payment as compared to the profit you are making? So something called as a debt service coverage ratio. And are you on safe ground there? Because apna ghar to aap sambhal loge kisi na kisi tarah, but bank is going to be obviously ruthless, contractual, and so on and so forth. So I think some of these debt related ratios you have to keep a very keen watch on. And if they are going haywire, obviously avoid the temptation of an expansion or a contract or an order and so on and so forth. Ye na kha ke pachhtani ki cheez hai, as far as debt is concerned. Third and last is there are these, I mean, on a broader level, it's a very specific ratio. We'll have to fix what ratio to check at what point of time. You don't take a blood test every day. Once a year you might take overall health check, right? But you walk up the stairs and you are feeling a bit suffocated or tired, you might end up doing a quick oxy test. So I think a big thing you'll do is what to check when at what frequency, and how to apply that. You'll be given weapons in this training and also taught when do we need to use what paper. So I think that's the broad answer.
Wonderful, very nice. So if I have to sum this up, I need to keep looking at my margins. I
Yes.
need to keep looking at my
The debt part is the loans and correct.
The debt ratios, and the last piece you said that I need to know what to check when in terms of
Yes.
my measuring the system of the company.
Correct.
Wonderful. Akshay, I would take one more. I'll move forward now to you. When it comes to Aarambh, what has been your experience of people's benefit that they have received out of it?
I think in the earlier part I said it, and I'm going to say that again, that any form of planning done, whether it is planning of financials, whether it is planning of resources, whether it is planning of raw material, whether it is planning of growth, whether it is planning of the kind of people and the skills which will be required, whether it is planning of the operational expenses that we will look at. If you look at actually budget is an estimation of what you are going to get and what are the overhead expenses that you are going to incur, and thus profit. And linking back to the last question, when I went to Africa, when I was a part of Airtel, at that particular point in time, we were bleeding millions of dollars per quarter. And the timeline which was given to the team was that in a period of 2 to 3 quarters, the situation needs to change and we need to at least become zero at that particular point in time. And one of the learnings that I had, who was our CFO, is that if you take care of 4 ratios, you will be able to look at what are the actions that we need to do. One is, he always used to talk about the debt ratio, which we have already spoken about. Second is all the possible efficiencies ratios, which Vineet has said that it will differ from one company to another, and which are the critical ones you need to identify. Third is the profitability ratio. And fourth important aspect is the liquidity around it. If we are getting guided by experts, you are planning your strategic goals, you are looking at all the resources which are required, then I think I would say that the benefits of any such exercise would be obvious. Okay, because it will not only help you to plan your goals, it will largely help us in 5 areas. Number one, first is it will help us to increase the sales goal. Second is it should ideally help you to plan better cash flow. It should ideally plan the estimation of costs. It also gives us time to think on and develop our core strategies. And last but not the least, I would say streamline processes. And I would sum it up by saying that a vague forecast leads to a heavy cost. And Shirish sir spoke about the manpower which is required. Manpower planning piece and the people budget is how many people will be required is only one aspect of it, which is the number crunching part to actually achieve your strategy. But it is also the kind of people which is required. It is the skill level which is required. It is the planning on when they are required, because if you are not planning that, that also leads to a heavy cost. If the right guy is not there in a particular territory, everyone knows the consequences of it. If that guy joins 3 quarters later when you have planned, people know the consequences of it. And if the wrong guy joins, I think the cost is
Allah Malik.
then the process of extraction is as painful as tooth extraction.
Okay, that takes us to I'm going to I'm going to ask Vineet, I'm going to ask you a question that Mr. Atul Kumar is asking. But after I share the presentation to the audience, just give me 30 seconds and we'll be able to do that. Okay, so friends, till today, the target that we had achieved, consolidated budget creation that we did was 3,600 crores in the last year. This year, the target is almost doubled up. We want people to come together and build this number together, because this will definitely be a Guinness record. We have already applied, so you can be a part of this Guinness as well. So that's the goal that we have. I hope you all will support us in this endeavor while your budgets are getting filled. This is a little about Aarambh. Now, what are the opportunities in Aarambh? I'll quickly define that. 2 days of intense workshop of annual growth budgets, 10 industry experts who have been CEOs, CFOs, CEOs, and CMOs and CSOs, all C-class executives in multinational companies who've been working with School of Inspirational Leadership, assisting so many entrepreneurs. Just to tell you, we have this year crossed almost 24,000 entrepreneurs in the country. So that have got touched with SIL in some or the other form. Over 50 specialists, either CMAs or finance MBAs and that kind of category people will be there to help us build our templates, customized budget templates as per industry, the entire budget filling online training before the participants come to budget, and that's the pre-budget sessions that will start on 15th. Budget query calls will also happen even after the event. So there are 4 query calls that we've kept after 20th of February. So every week you can come up, put in your queries, and some expert will solve it. Fixed predefined appointments with potential vendors. Now, technology being on our side, SIL is a technology savvy company. We are creating a microsite of everybody who's participating in Aarambh. With their industry, with the need that they want, they can put in all of that. And when people are, you can see all the details, contact details of everybody who's participated. And you can send a direct calendar request to that person or that you want to meet him in person, and you can have a focused discussion around that. Get inspired with live success stories. When we say live success stories, you will see us on Z Business in the show called Inspiring India. I'm going to play a small cutout right now for all of you. And businesses who have become 100 crores with us, जो businesses हमारे साथ 100 करोड़ की जर्नी तय कर चुके हैं, ऐसे businesses को अवार्ड दिया जाएगा इंस्पायरिंग इंडिया के रूप में, और वो अवार्ड मिनिस्ट्री के हाथों उनको मिलेगा. इन्हीं सब्जेक्ट्स को, इन्हीं स्टोरीज को हम टेलीविजन पे लेके आ रहे हैं, और इन्हीं स्टोरीज को आपके सामने लेके आएंगे आरंभ के माध्यम से, जहां पे आपको ये पता चलेगा कि इन्होंने सही क्या किया, गलत क्या किया, ताकि आप भी उस नंबर पे पहुंचने के लिए इंस्पायर हो. So I'll share a small a clip of that. Of course, you are joining a community of inspirational entrepreneurs who are wanting always to grow, move forward, and you get this entire kit with you. So we give you the template, we give you the LMS, we give you everything. I'll show you all of that. So that helps you. How many of you are excited to all this? If you see how the amount of efforts that we're putting in, please write down. I am excited. So you can write down IME. It's IME. You can write it on the chat box. And IME. Okay, you can just write down IME. Yeah, thank you. Wonderful. What is the program name on Z Business? Vijay, the program name on Z Business is Inspiring India Movement. Okay, and I'm going to share a quick video around that. Just give me a moment. I'll share that video with you. Give me a moment. 30 seconds from now, the video will play.
नए अवसरों को टैप करने के लिए स्मॉल बिजनेसेस कैसी स्ट्रैटेजीज बनाए. टेक्नोलॉजिकल कंपनी में हमेशा ये
Here you go, you have this, and this is the show. Have a look at this.
नए अवसरों को टैप करने के लिए स्मॉल बिजनेसेस कैसी स्ट्रैटेजीज बनाए. टेक्नोलॉजिकल कंपनी में हमेशा ये इंपॉर्टेंट रहता है
कि आप टेक्नोलॉजी के एक स्टेप अहेड रहो. यू नो द टेक्नोलॉजीज व्हाट इज गोइंग इन द मार्केट. मेटल का कार केस वगैरह बनाए कि ताकि लोग लाइफ टाइम प्रॉब्लम जितने भी है लोगों की प्रॉब्लम, वो प्रॉब्लम से निजात पा जाए.
जितने भी बिजनेसेस हैं ना, दे फॉल इनटू 3 buckets. If these 3 buckets are been closed correctly, then the business is growing.
SIL University present Inspiring India Movement coming soon on Z Business.
You will see all these people, all those 10 stories who've grown with us. You will be able to talk to them, understand them. What are the mistakes? What are the learnings? What are the right decisions that they took? All of this is going to be happening in Aarambh. So I'm strongly recommend that you should be a part of this. Okay, let's go ahead and move towards questions that we have. Somebody has, I have already enrolled with my 2 distributors. Very good, Santosh. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Santosh, for joining in. Okay, so here we go. The question that has come to us is Atul Kumar is asking. Question is to Vineet here. Should we have fixed and flexible budget together, or we should have them separately? So first of all, what is fixed budget? What is separable? What is that? Flexible budget. Can there be a fixed budget? Can there be a flexible budget? Go ahead. These
Sure.
questions.
So I think, see, sometimes nomenclatures are not standard. So I'm just assuming there are two ways that, I mean, this could be two things. So if he wants to clarify, maybe he can just text somewhere ki, whether it is right or not. So by fixed budget, are you saying budget for, I mean, आपका fixed, that is capital investment को आप fixed कह रहे हो? Or variable budget is your P&L? Is that the understanding? And if you can just maybe put on the screen, put on the chat.
I will allow him to speak if possible.
Yeah, that will be nice. So thoda,
I don't know.
or is he talking about fixed cost and variable costs? I mean, I think he might mean fixed cost and variable cost.
No, I am not able to get him on because this is a webinar. We can't let the attendees speak.
But if you can put on the text box.
Yeah, you can put.
Meanwhile, I will start answering. So I think his question.
Correct.
Assuming that his question was, should we keep the fixed and variable budget separate? So I'm just trying to understand what he means by separate, because ultimately it's the same pocket from which expenses are going to be made. But let's presume that you have got, say, आपका either rent पे है तो rental, people cost, your tax, a lot of things are fixed. Yeah.
I think Atulji now can speak. You can unmute yourself, Atulji, and you can speak. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm audible.
Yes, Atulji.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Sir, actually, whatever we plan means जो हम बजट के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं कि हम जो कुछ भी करेंगे वो एक बजट होगा जो प्लान होगा, लेकिन उसके वो मतलब एक फिक्स्ड और वेरिएबल, तो ये तो फिक्स बजट हो गया, लेकिन इसके अलावा कोई भी चीज ऑल ऑफ ए सडनली बीच में आ जाती है या कोई न्यू प्रोजेक्ट बीच में आ जाता है या क्या होता है, उसके लिए हमें एक्स्ट्रा प्लानिंग क्या करनी चाहिए? जैसे मैंने मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है कि 1 करोड़ रुपए का प्लानिंग किया है कि नेक्स्ट ईयर हमें इस प्रोजेक्ट के ऊपर या इस सेक्शन के ऊपर मुझे खर्च करना है, लेकिन ऑल ऑफ ए सडन सपोज कोई 2-3 करोड़ का ऑर्डर आ गया बीच में, तो हम उसके लिए तैयार नहीं है, फिर हम वो चीजें को क्या करेंगे, कैसे करेंगे?
करेक्ट. तो पहले बजट का सवाल खत्म करते हैं और रियल लाइफ खत्म करते हैं, और पहले रियल लाइफ लेते हैं. तो एज्यूम कीजिए कि आपने बजट में ये नहीं डाला है, आपका 3 करोड़ का ऑर्डर नहीं डाला है
जी,
और सडनली ऑर्डर आ गया. तो ऑब्वियसली अगर आपके पास इसका प्रैक्टिकल जवाब क्या है, अगर आप ऑब्वियसली वो ऑर्डर प्रॉफिटेबल है, ये मैं मान रहा हूं, प्रॉफिटेबल है, आप करना चाहते हो और आपके पास उसका फंडिंग अवेलेबल है, या बैंक लिमिट है, खुद का पैसा है, बहुत कुछ भी है, तो ऑब्वियसली हम करते ऐसा है कि सपोज 12 महीने के 12 नंबर्स वहां पे है, या साल का अगर एक नंबर है, तो आपको बजट में कुछ नहीं करना है, बजट है वैसा ही रहेगा, वो बजट का पर्पस ही वही है कि ये आपका प्लान्ड इतना था, लेकिन आपने ज्यादा फॉर एग्जांपल ये कर लिया. तो इसलिए मैंने कहा कि रियल लाइफ में आपको अगर आपका जो एक्सेल शीट वाला बजट है, वो रियल लाइफ में जो चीजें संभव नहीं है वो तो संभव नहीं कर सकता, वो तो पैसा नहीं है तो बजट में है नहीं है, इट डजंट मैटर, बट वो संभव क्या कर सकता है. तो पहली चीज, अगर आज आप बैठ के आपने बजटिंग किया तो आपको पता चलेगा शांति से, आप आज प्लानिंग कर सके कि अप्रैल से मार्च तक मुझे कितने ऑर्डर्स मिल सकते हैं. उसके लिए आप आपकी सेल्स टीम, आपके कस्टमर्स, कहीं तो आप सोच के आप प्लान करेंगे. उसी बहाने ये तो हो गया हमारा 2-3 दिन का जो प्लानिंग. उससे पहले अगर आपने ये एक्सरसाइज कर लिया कि पिछले साल में या करंटली कौन से ऑर्डर्स हॉट है, कौन सा कस्टमर्स कैसा परफॉर्मेंस कर रहा है, कौन ले सकता है. परफेक्टली तो किसी को मालूम नहीं है फ्यूचर क्या होने वाला, किसी को मालूम नहीं था कोविड आने वाला है और हम 2 महीने या 1 साल बंद रहेंगे, बट आज की तारीख में क्या दिख रहा है फ्यूचर, ये हम शांति से बैठ के कभी लिखते नहीं है. और ये इसका पर्पस है कि इंस्टेड ऑफ नथिंग, आई मीन कागज पे कुछ नहीं होना वर्सेस कागज पे 12 महीने के 12 नंबर्स होना, उसके अराउंड सोच होना, उस ऑर्डर्स को कंप्लीट करने के लिए कितना पैसा चाहिए, उसके लिए आपकी बैंक क्या कह रही है, उसके लिए प्राइवेट फाइनेंस है क्या, ये सब लिखना, ये पर्पस है। ओके, तो इससे आपको पता चलेगा कि क्या 3 करोड़ नहीं, क्या 50 लाख ले सकते हो, 1 करोड़ ले सकते हो, एक दो, आपको लगता है अगर कि ऑर्डर शायद आ सकते हैं, बिकॉज ऐसा तो नहीं हुआ कि 3 करोड़ के बजाय 30 करोड़ का ऑर्डर आ गया। एक रेंज रहेगा हर एक बिजनेस का कि मेरा 10 करोड़ टर्नओवर है तो मेरा एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डर कितना होगा, 1 करोड़, 2 करोड़, 5 करोड़, 50 करोड़ का एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डर मोस्टली नहीं होगा। तो आप अपना एक लिमिट सेट कर सकते हो कि मुझे 2-3 करोड़ के अगर आ गए तो यही देखिए ना, आप ये सवाल 3 महीने पहले पूछ रहे हो, तो इससे आप चालू कर दोगे कि इसके लिए क्या करें।
Wonderful, very nice.
Yeah, thank you so much.
वेलकम।
Wonderful. By the way, I should
एक छोटा सा बात कहना चाहूंगा कि आपका जो ये क्वेश्चन है ना, बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन है, क्योंकि क्या लाइफ वोलेटाइल होती है,
जी,
क्या अनसर्टेनिटी आती है, हाँ या ना?
अनसर्टेनिटी आती है ना सर, डेफिनेटली
आती है ना। और एक्सपर्ट की गाइडेंस में एक एडवांटेज ये रहता है कि जितनी पॉसिबल लॉजिकली हम प्लान कर सकते हैं, उन सारे फैक्टर्स को अपने सब अनुभव के, आपके अनुभव के, 10 एक्सपर्ट के अनुभव के, और हर टेबल पे फाइनेंशियल एक्सपर्ट के, तो जो सिक्योर एनवायरनमेंट हम क्रिएट कर सकते हैं। अगर छोटा बच्चा पैदा होता है ना और शुरुआत के एम्बिलिकल कॉर्ड कटने के बाद एनआईसीयू में रहता है, तो उसको वैसा एनवायरनमेंट देने का प्रयास किया जाता है जैसा प्रेगनेंसी के दौरान था। उसी तरीके से हम अपने अनुभव से एक ऐसा एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट करने की कोशिश करेंगे कि जितने वेरिएबल्स पॉसिबली हम डिस्कस कर सकते हैं समय के अकॉर्डिंगली, और कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि 48 घंटे में हम सारी बातों को क्रैक कर पाए, लेकिन कोशिश करेंगे एक ऐसा एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट करने की कि हम अपने सब अनुभव से वो सारे वेरिएबल्स आपके साथ डिस्कस कर पाए, ताकि गलती होने के चांसेस कम हो। क्या हम ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उसके बाद आपकी लाइफ में एकदम बिल्कुल वैसे ही ट्रैक पर चलेगा जैसा ट्रेन ड्राइवरलेस चलती है,
नहीं,
या
कोई गारंटी नहीं है।
आपका बिजनेस वैसा चलेगा जैसे थैलिस के सिग्नलिंग सिस्टम के बाद दिल्ली मेट्रो रेल कॉर्पोरेशन चलती है ना, कि कोई भी मेट्रो कार्ड स्वाइप करते हो तो गेट खुल जाता है। उतनी एक्यूरेसी देने की कोशिश करेंगे, बट क्या गारंटी है कि हमेशा ऐसा चलता रहेगा? तो आंसर इज नो। बट इस प्लानिंग से इफेक्टिव यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ रिसोर्सेज होगा, जो वेस्टेज ऑफ रिसोर्सेज हो सकता है। और मैं एक और बात कह के अंत करना चाहता हूँ, सो इट इज नॉट अबाउट प्लानिंग योर बजट ओनली, इट इज अबाउट ऑल्सो लिविंग योर बजट। अतुल जी, आपके बिजनेस में आपका बॉस कौन है?
कस्टमर इज माय बॉस।
नहीं, ये तो आप पॉलिटिकली करेक्ट आंसर दे रहे हैं, आपका कोई बॉस नहीं, आप सिर्फ अपनी सुनते हो। तो इस बजट के माध्यम से एक कंपास मिलेगा
जी,
जो आपको आदत डालने पर मजबूर करेगा कि अगर आपने स्पेंडिंग बजट 100 रुपए का क्रिएट किया है तो स्टार्ट बिहेविंग वेल।
ओके।
और जब भी वेरिएंस क्रिएट करोगे, और अगर उस रेवेन्यू बजट को बनाने के बाद या एस्टिमेशन ऑफ एक्सपेंसेस को बनाने के बाद अगर उसको बैक्ड अप बाय रिव्यू भी कर लोगे अंडर एक्सपर्ट गाइडेंस, तो चांसेस गलत ट्रैक पर जाने के या जल्दी पकड़ने के, विनीत भाई ने बहुत अच्छी बात बोली कि आज आप वो सवाल पूछ रहे हो जो 3 महीने बाद के लिए, तो अगर उस सोच में आप चले जाओगे और मंथ ऑन मंथ आप उसको रिव्यू करते रहोगे, सो चांसेस ऑफ मिस्टेक्स हैपनिंग इज रिलेटिवली लेसर। ये आपके कंपास का काम करेगा, ये आपके कॉन्शियस कीपर का काम करेगा कि जो आपने कहा था वो आप कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं। एंड फंडामेंटली बिजनेस इन लाइफ इज ऑल अबाउट व्हाट यू से, वेदर यू डू इट और नॉट।
Correct. You know, in the same breath, let me also thank Atul for joining in, trusting in us, because I still remember the first batch of SIL, where 15 people trusted SIL when SIL was nothing. Atul was a part of that batch, and thank you very much, Atul. It's been 9 years we are together. Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you. And
लोगों ने लास्ट ईयर वेबिनार अटेंड किया होगा, अतुल जी को पहचानते भी होंगे, जितना वीडियो अतुल जी का चला है उतना हमारा भी नहीं चला है।
नहीं, वो सर भी बोल रहे थे कि 500 टाइम्स उन्होंने चलाया है।
बढ़िया।
दैट वाज द टर्निंग पॉइंट। उस समय हमने बहुत कुछ सीखा। मतलब मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था हम करते तो जा रहे हैं बहुत कुछ, बट हम सही कर रहे हैं कि नहीं वो हमें पता ही नहीं था। तो बाद में पता चला कि शायद हम सही कर रहे थे, इसीलिए हम शायद यहाँ तक पहुंचे। अगर गलत करते तो बिजनेस बंद हो जाता था। बट उसमें वो सब चीजें हम सही कर रहे थे, बट हमें उसका कोई ये नहीं था कि हाँ हम सही ही कर रहे हैं। लेकिन उसके बाद बहुत सारी चेंजेस आई, सिस्टम ठीक है, मतलब बिजनेस ऐसा नहीं बोलेंगे कि उस समय मेरा टर्नओवर था 1.5 करोड़, अभी इट इज अराउंड 6.5 करोड़, और नाउ मेरे पास इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अभी 15 करोड़ से ऊपर का रेडी है मेरे कंपनी के लिए, जो हम नेक्स्ट ईयर के लिए अभी प्लान तो कर रहे हैं कि क्या करना है। बट वी लर्न लॉट ऑफ सिस्टम्स, ताकि सिस्टम इम्प्लीमेंट करने से विल नॉट बिलीव कि मतलब मैं अकेला हूँ बिजनेस में, लेकिन ये सब चीजें मुझे ऐसी लगती है ना कि मेरे साथ कुछ एक पावरफुल टूल्स है, मतलब ये सब चीजें मुझे डरने नहीं देती। यू विल नॉट बिलीव, जो हमने एडवाइजरी भी किया था 1.5 साल पूरे लॉकडाउन में, फिर एडवाइजरी किया मैंने लॉकडाउन में, घर में बैठ के 2 करोड़ का 2.5 करोड़ का बिजनेस लिया था, और उसके बाद मैंने पूरे कंपनी खड़ी की थी वो लॉकडाउन में। तो वो सब चीजें चल रही हैं, बट अभी और बहुत कुछ करना है। ठीक है, वो पॉइंट्स तक हम नहीं पहुंच पाए, बट करना है।
So life is all about human aspirations. We don't have to worry. We'll keep moving forward. Thank you very much, Atul, for sharing this. Now we move forward quickly, but before I move forward, I'll complete the presentation that I had to share with all of you. And as I said, these are certain highlights of the entire thing. You will find me there. You will find Dr. Akshay Seth. You will find Mr. Shrikant Bangarkar, Dr. Kalindi Kare. You will find C.A. Kalyan Jangnani, Mr. Raman Nanda. You will find Madan Bajpayee, you will find Shiv Kumar, you will find Mr. Shirish Gude and Mr. Vineet Dev. So these we are the these are the people who will help us to execute our entire thing. As I said, the day one starts and talks about what all we're going to get. The inauguration will happen. Expectation setting of revenue, market, human resource. Then a group discussion with certain people who are procurement head of Tata Taco, of procurement head of Praj. All of these people are going to be there, and we're going to have a discussion of why MSME budgets fail and what kind of vendors they are looking to move forward. Then we have a complete session by Shrikant sir, who's going to talk about operational excellence budget. Then post lunch, the budget filling exercise will start. Day two, we will have Kalyan and Vineet in a discussion with me about debt versus equity. Then validation of a budget. We will pick up any random budget. All the experts will be divided into 2 groups, and the experts will be looking and monitoring the entire budget flow of what the people have done. We'll pick up random budgets, so there's nothing that somebody supported, somebody's not. And the group of 2 mentors or 2 set of mentors will say, okay, this is a great budget, this is not a great budget, or this is improvement. In the process, we want people to learn and make the changes that are required in their budget system. Then we have certain people in terms of, but again, the budget filling exercise happens. After 5, the Inspiring India Movement show starts happening, and this is how we will move forward. Registration pricing for Aarambh is 43,999. You can avail 21,999 is a gift voucher that you get out of it, and free access to SL University courses, any one of the course for 30 days. The early bird for first 50 seats is 21,999, which is almost a 50% of discount that we have. You can still avail the gift voucher of 29,999 all across the year, and any one course 4,999 for 30 days is going to be free for you. So ideally, what we're saying is, I will just share with all of you the page of SL University as well now, and how it looks like. As we said that the entire budget template has already been explained in the LMS. So if you see, so this is SL University for you. The courses are getting built. These are core courses only for entrepreneurship development. Okay, so you see Road to Excellence, you see Sales Magnet, you see Fit Factory, you see Warrior Leadership, you see Burning Desire, you see Long Lasting Dynasty, you see Mindful Life, Straight Up Sales. All of these courses that we are building typically are courses for MSMEs and ME businesses, specialized, created for them. In that, we also have the complete budget template and all the relevant things required for it. There are 6 lessons. You will get access to this. You don't have to worry. And what will happen in this is, here you go. So your complete Aarambh, budget filling, detailing has been given here. So you can access this as well. There's no problems once you're part of this. And you can also ask questions. I'll just throw this to you. If you have questions, you can mention it on the club, and on the club, mentors will start responding to that. So it is a very interactive system that we have created, and I'm sure all of us will be interested in joining this entire ecosystem. Now, some of the business owners wanted to know ideally which all people from the organization to involve. Okay, so I think there is a question here that's been asked: who should be a part of the budget making exercise from the company? Akshay, would you want to take this call?
I think my vote will go, and I will sound partial, that the person who is going to lead the revenue generation or the cash generation, one should be a part of it, and the people who are the record keepers of that, whether we are progressing in the right direction. So in some MSMEs, they are the accounts guy. In some a little evolved organization, you will have people who are chief financial officers or the head of finance there. I think these are the people who are responsible for creation, and some people who are doing the record keeping should be a part of that exercise. I'm a little skeptical in using titles, because in some cases this role is played by the head of HR of the company.
Correct.
Because I'm talking about not a very structured organization format. I'm talking about people who are playing the role. So if we have to say, somebody who is responsible for sales and somebody who's monitoring the accounting system and all. If the entrepreneur is, this is an addition that I'm giving to what Akshay said. If the entrepreneur has a difficulty in writing down Excel and all of that, you may definitely want your accountant to be there for a simple reason, is because he knows that, he knows how to, fill in that Excel. So you may then become his brain ki dalna ke andar. जो आप बताओगे वही वो डालेगा. That's रिकॉर्ड कीपिंग वाला आदमी, चाहे वो MIS एग्जीक्यूटिव कहलाए, चाहे ऑपरेशंस एग्जीक्यूटिव कहलाए, चाहे वो अकाउंटेंट कहलाए, कई बार एडमिन वाला बंदा, वो रोल, बस वो रोल जो कौन प्ले कर रहा है, जो कैश जनरेशन का, रिकॉर्ड कीपिंग का है, they should all be there. And also it's also about not only those people, those who believe in making it happen. If the organization has, let's say, 4 or 5 directors, in that case, all those people who are responsible for various roles should be there, ideally.
Correct.
Who are making it happen, and what
in an organization where there are directors, we have one of the participants who've already registered for 4 directors together. One of them is good for in sales, one of them is good in operations, somebody is good in purchase. I mean, they are handling these roles. They have come together. और जब ये पूछा गया कि Excel कौन भरेगा, तो the one who's leading the sales said, "Sir, Excel में भर दूंगा." So that's how they are working. So that's okay. I think that's a good thing that can happen. So I hope I have answered the question. That takes us to the last part of it, where I also share with all of you. Give me a moment. The last date of this is 31st of December. Before 31st of December, we are filling up these seats. I am not sure right now whether this early bird discount will be eligible after that or not, but people who intend to put their seats on table, because the seats will be, when the seats get filled, there are 500 businesses. When the seats get filled, there's first come first basis. So people at the front will enjoy direct access as well. So make sure that you are registering it, because at the 50% discount rate, I think 2 days, 5-star hotel, all of this is a peanut. But more importantly is, we would want all of you to be there. Thank you, Naga, that you've registered. We would want you to be there so that we all can plan our next year together well. And worst come worst, अगर एक अच्छा vendor मिल जाए, एक अच्छा supplier मिल जाए, एक अच्छा दोस्त मिल जाए, and अच्छी community मिल जाए, I think it's worth coming to such kind of a one of its kind unique event. So I'm 100% sure that all of you would be a part of this beautiful journey. I thank Vineet, I thank Dr. Akshay, I thank Shirish sir for joining in today. I'll catch you up in some other discussions, my dear friends, while we show the awareness and create the awareness for Aarambh. And all of you, I'm extremely thankful for all the participants for joining in. Yes, Arun, you can network with anybody.
Yogesh,
Yes,
just one word, if I may.
correct. Go ahead, of course.
Okay, I think आप अतुल जी से कुछ बात कर रहे थे.
No, I said Arun Patli was asking, any networking opportunities also. There is a dedicated, website that we are building, which all the details you got to fill in yourself. So everybody who's participating will fill in the details. You can choose who to meet. So that's an open forum that you can network. No problems.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just saying in a lighter way that the best example of a budget and how you can use is cricket matches में आता है ना वो. So many runs left and so many balls.
Correct.
Imagine the utility of that to the batsman and the bowler. कि पूरा match उसके ऊपर dependent है, एक statistic के ऊपर.
Correct.
So that's it.
Correct. So I think scorecard is very important. But how to see the problem that, I mean, not problem, but the challenge that happens is our dear friends here are extremely good in what they do, whether they're preparing a machine or trading a product or trading a service, they're very good with it. But unfortunately, these management practices have been missing. And because these management practices are missing, probably they lose a lot of money. I mean, in the three buckets that I keep talking about, cash creation, processing, and collection, they lose a lot of money in processing, and hence the money doesn't stay in the hand. So I think an attempt like this will definitely help you to improve your bottom lines and improve your top lines. So thank you very much, Vineet, once again. Thank you, Dr. Akshay Seth.
Okay.
Thank you, Girish sir, Shirish sir, for joining in. Thank you, all of you as participants joining in. I'll see you on 19th and 20th. I'm a very optimistic man, wanting to see all of you and give you a lot of hugs and make sure that the business is growing. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.